It's time for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Brewed Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard, and the Walmart East Plaza. And now, Down on the Corner.
One.
Good morning, North Central Arkansas. It is Monday, October 30th, 2017. It is 7 a.m. and welcome to the new Down on the Corner program. And we welcome you to the inaugural program. We have Scott Callis, known as Scooter, and Jerry Hogan's here as well. Guest today will be Mike Sisk and Bob Rechtenwald. First, we need to pause for our morning prayer, which has been a tradition on Down on the Corner for many, many years. Now, our morning prayer. Heavenly Father, as we embark on a new adventure, I pray you guide our thoughts and actions so that we can help our local people to be successful. My 10 years in radio were a blessing. Now new opportunity is before us. Lord, our whole objective is to make our people successful through business ads and community involvement. Bless our people, bring success and financial blessings to our folks. It's my prayer today. Amen.
Amen.
Well, guys, temperature-wise, hey, Mike just walked in. Hey, Mike. We've got 37 degrees in Mountain Home, 48 at Harrison, 37 in beautiful Hardy, Arkansas. But the Spring River is gorgeous today, don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
32 in Mountain View, Arkansas. Yellville checks in at 35, while Marshall's at 32. Same at Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Branson at 37. Let's take a look at that national radar. You can follow along by going to www.weather.gov. Have some shower activity in the northeast part of the country. The New England areas had some shower activity throughout the weekend. Let's take a look at what's going on in Missouri. We'll hit that radar stop up around the Kansas City area real quick. I-70 getting a lot of shower activity right now. We'll back out of this and we'll go over to St. Louis and see what they have. Shower activity just northwest of St. Louis, as you can see on the radar. Springfield, Illinois, back towards Quincy. But Arkansas right now seems to be clear. Your highways in Arkansas, 62, 412 east and west is clear. Your interstates 30, 40, 49, 55 in Arkansas seem to be in good shape at this time. Well, gentlemen.
Well, that's the start of the new show.
Here we go.
You ready for this?
I think we are.
Did you get enough coffee?
No, we have Brewed Awakening Coffee. Well, Jerry, we got to talk about Brewed Awakening Coffee.
There's a lot to talk about there.
You want the best coffee in town, it's Brewed Awakening. As you heard in the opening, Jacqueline told you the 3 locations. We got Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard. We also have BRMC Lobby and Walmart East Plaza. Great stuff.
It's very good.
Now we got to get some cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls.
Have you had their
go
cinnamon
well
rolls?
with
When's the
it.
last time you had a cinnamon roll?
It's been a little while, but man, they are huge.
Yeah, DeSoto hubcaps. I mean, you know. Well, let's talk a little bit about coming over from radio to do TV. Jerry and myself, along with Scooter, been involved in radio for a while. And several things had changed. And, Jerry, we're all about local.
That's right.
We're all about local. And I want folks to realize, if you get your phone out here and go to your calendar, and I want to point something out here. Let me clear this out here. But if you look at your calendar and look at November, Thanksgiving is the 23rd of November. That gives us the 24th through 30th. And I want to encourage folks to shop local. Get as much shopping done locally as you can in November. And that's going to be a boost of this local economy, whether you're in Harrison or Branson or West Plains, Mountain View, Arkansas, Mountain Home, Arkansas, wherever it may be. Shop local.
And that's the thing. You know, everybody wants to support the community. Everybody wants a better economy in their community, and that's how you do it. You got to stay local.
And when you advertise local.
That helps.
That helps.
Yeah, keep the money local. I think it's for every dollar spent in town. You know, that dollar rolls over as soon as you buy online. $0 roll over. You go to Branson, naturally, your money goes with you there. So
Yeah.
it's very important to keep it
You
local.
shop online, it doesn't stay here. We got guests coming up. We got Mike Sisk from Minute Mechanic going to join us here in just a few minutes. Bob Rechtenwald with Jim Brown Company. Local business. And this is what it's all about. That's why the move from radio to TV, because the previous gig was not local. You know, the money is not being reinvested in the local economy. This is the Reynolds family been outstanding in bringing this program over to television rather than just being on radio. And I want to thank Scott Callis and Jerry Hogan. Can you back out of that shot so they can see that set you built scooter?
That's
You
all
bet.
Scooter,
Ain't that
man.
something?
Let me
Yeah,
get
it's
over
I
here.
was the supervisor.
You see this black curtain behind us. This is going to change goes on, Julie Kelly over at Physical Therapy Connection says, you know what your backdrop needs to be? And I said, what's that? I said, well, it needs to be all your antique stuff. Yes, I can empty the barn.
Well, that's what we're in the process of
We're in
doing.
the process of getting
This
some
is the
stuff,
process,
so
and
either, I don't know if it's going to be back in this area or over behind Jerry, but over in the corner, I have a 1952 Ampex tape recorder. I've got a Webcore sitting over here from 1958, some antique radios ready to come in.
in other words, you're already unloading your garage.
I'm already unloading.
Pretty much.
Yes, we'll have a garage sale sign one of these.
Now you got to clean it up.
Well, what the show is all about, yes, we came over from Conservative Talk Radio, and I'm still conservative, but we want to welcome people of all faiths, of all ideas, and we will have candidates. All parties are welcome.
There you
Give
go.
us a call. I mean, back in the radio days, we welcomed Mike Ross, who was the Democratic nominee for governor in those days. We had Curtis Coleman, of course, Governor Asa Hutchinson. I want to thank the governor for the fine intro that
Oh, they did a great
Scooter
job
put
on
together.
that.
We're down at the Wolf House with Governor Asa Hutchinson. I appreciate his effort there. And Mike West, I believe, out of Batesville, running as a Libertarian candidate coming up in 2018. So
Ought to be a big year.
same thing, except you can see us, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's about the only difference. You can see us now. I don't know if that's a good thing. I think we all have a face for radio.
So, Jerry, we need to let people know that you're out there and making some sales for XL7 and 26 in Harrison. We welcome the Harrison folks, West Plains people.
That's right.
Come join us. Have some
Mountain View.
fun. Mountain View. Yeah.
I already have a sponsor from Mountain View Chevrolet. So thank
Welcome
you,
aboard.
Charles.
That's good. That's good. That's
Awesome, awesome. I mean, you haven't missed a step, Jerry. You're still serving the same people, and the same smile, and the same Jerry.
I tell you, I was at the other place and felt like a stranger because everybody was over here. It's
They-
like, okay, guess I'll go with the fellas, man. So here we are.
It's,
Well-
so a new endeavor. And, of course, Scott and his wife Amanda, they own Old Time Restaurant on the Square. Best breakfast in town, best lunch in town, Old Time Restaurant on the Square in Mountain Home. Appreciate their sponsorship over in the radio news and now bringing it over to XL7 TV.
I'm excited.
And I want to thank
This
you
is
for
gonna be a good
building this
adventure.
set and for all your work. And like I say, you know,
About lost a finger and a hand over it, I
you
think.
keep drilling holes in his fingers.
And then I got near him and busted my finger. We were moving
guys
your
are dangerous.
antique
Right
radio.
after that happened, Gil left.
Overlook.
Gil left before he ended up hurting something.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Let's talk a little bit about Brewed Awakening Coffee. Once again, 3 locations to serve you out on Highway 62, 412 at Bomber, the BRMC lobby. And, of course, Walmart East Plaza. Mike and his staff out there, you know, the 3 locations, they say very, very busy, but they've got the best coffee in town. Coffee.
All right, we gotta bring old Gil in here. He just sat down.
Oh,
there in the car
Gil?
seat.
I'll just make sure everything's working, and I heard you talking some smack, Scott.
Well, me? Would I do that?
Mr. Gil Reynolds, Reynolds Media. Thank you, sir, for the
Yeah.
opportunity.
No problem.
And congratulations on the new baby girl.
Thank you.
You and your wife.
Thank you,
And,
thank you.
that was one of the main reasons we decided to come to TV, because I see this young family, and where I was before, it's the money's not being spent locally. This is local. This is investing in Mountain Home and Harrison's people. So Marion, Boone, Baxter County, this is where the money needs to be. And I appreciate Reynolds Media and for what you're doing with XL7.
Well, thank you.
And,
We're glad to bring you aboard, and looking forward to doing the show.
It's going to be
So.
fun. And we're going to bring in the same guests like we had in the radio days. We may change a little bit from here to there, but overall, the pattern's going to be the same.
Yep.
And, something else on the weather.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, on the weather. If you want to see your city, you got this brought up. I'll bring these temperatures up again.
All right, let me
We
bring
can
it
put
up.
anybody in here. So if there's a city that you need listed that you want to see the temperature at 7 o'clock, let us know.
Let me bring it up here.
How about
There it
Honolulu,
is. There it is.
Hawaii?
There's all the temps coming up
There's
right
the
now.
temps
so-
right there. And see, I can hit refresh, and, you know, I wonder how cold it is. We'll turn on XL7 TV at 7 o'clock, and you'll find out what the temperatures are, because Scooter's going to superimpose that, probably over Jerry's face.
Pretty good.
There may be some people happy about that.
me and Jerry kind of go after each other. Right, fat boy?
That's right, pork chop.
This is their relationship.
Jerry's been a good friend for a long time, and appreciate his effort here. So Anyway, Jerry, what else you got? And Gil?
Just new sponsors. We got a lot of shop local Christmas stuff going on, and
Yeah.
so I'll be pushing
And folks,
that.
the Christmas season is here. Whether you
It
like
sure
to look
is.
at Walmart and look at Dollar General stores, have got the Christmas stuff out.
I think it's been here since July, actually,
Yeah.
according to Hobby Lobby.
Anyway, you about ready to take a break? So we bring on some guests.
we'll take a quick break here and
Bring us in some local spots here, and let's see who we can help. We're going to talk with Mike Sisk from Minute Mechanic for a while. Bob Rechtenwald on board with sports. Talk a little bit about Jim Brown as well. So stick around.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
Two, one, back.
And we're back. And I want to welcome Mike Sisk from Minute Mechanic. Been friends for 100 years.
Good morning, Dale.
We go back in the points and condenser days.
Yes, we do. You know, I think back sometimes when you worked up at Minute Mechanic with me, it seems like it was 1,000 years ago. But what was it, early 90s?
Well, I started in '89.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has been about 1,000
It's been a while, yeah.
years ago.
Been a while. No, it's been longer than that. It has been longer than that because, yeah, about 1989, I guess it was. My oldest boy was just a little bitty in those days.
Right.
And, you know, let's talk a little bit about Minute Mechanic location on Highway 201 North. You've been there, what, since 1984?
We have been there since 1984. We're at 132 Highway 201 North at Mountain Home. We're the best landmark I give people when they ask where we are is I say we're across the road from the Salvation
There you
Army
go.
thrift store.
Yeah.
And generally people know where I'm talking about.
Yeah. And so through the years, you've seen so many changes. Like I say, when I was there, we still had points and condenser in stock for Studebakers. Remember that?
Yes, absolutely I do.
Dual points in the old Chrysler cars and the Uniset for General Motors. And we've gone through that into the computer control command. Remember that on the Camaros? And
We have made the transition from the old points and plugs and carburetors and distributors and things like that to where now almost everything on one of these cars in the powertrain is controlled by a computer.
Yeah.
We don't have points, we don't have distributors, we don't have carburetors. We have distributorless ignition and we've got fuel injection and things like that. And You know, people have heard me say it before, cars are so much improved over what they used to be. The old cars are fun to drive and they're great to look at, but they're not what you would take from here to Los Angeles, probably, given your druthers, right?
But you know, my nephew in Franklin, Tennessee, 1955 Plymouth.
Right.
And I went over there and I worked on the brakes and we got the engine started, and I sat there and I just looked and I thought, you know, my grandparents didn't give it a second thought. To put the suitcases in the trunk, put the key in the switch and take off. You have a single reservoir master cylinder on the brakes, you had tubes in your tires, and you take off for 200 miles and didn't think twice about it. And I think, I wouldn't go from here to across town in it right now.
Yeah, you know, my dad, when I was a kid, he always carried a toolbox full of tools in the trunk of the car, or carried them under or behind the seat in the pickup or something. He always had, and I can think of more than one occasion where I'm glad that he did. We get out and have some car trouble, and my dad was a master rigger. He could make anything work for a little bit.
You know, my early days of being an automotive mechanic, I thought Anheuser-Busch was the largest manufacturer of exhaust products.
Right.
A Busch beer and a Budweiser cans of baling wire, and you fix that tailpipe.
And things have changed so much, you know. Yes, the cars are better, but they are infinitely more complicated than they used to be. And the maintenance schedule on modern cars have changed quite a lot. You know, pretty much gone are the days of the 2,000, 3,000 mile oil changes, and they're gone are the days of the yearly tune-ups and things like that. And you still have, you know, a maintenance schedule you need to stick to on these cars.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But
I had a,
you know, it has gotten stretched out now.
Yeah.
You know, to where spark plugs don't get changed till 100,000 miles.
I think I changed mine at 103,000. The original set came out.
Exactly. Oil changes are now anywhere from probably 5,000 and up, you know, on oil changes.
You know, I have a problem with that. And I know the synthetic oil, you know, Mobil 1, AMS oil that you have there at Mid-Mechanic is all good oil. Castrol, Pennzoil, Quaker State, you name it on down the line. But that mental block of that 3,000 mile.
Well, that's our rut in the road. We're used to having changed oil every 2,500, 3,000 miles. The old cars you're talking about, that was absolutely necessary, with carburetors and chokes would stick, and we'd wash down the cylinders and
nightmares
and all these things. Well, the modern cars, you know, with fuel injection and the oils are better. You can stretch those oil changes out some. I'm not going to sit here and tell you
45 to 5,500 miles is not uncommon on the new oils?
No, absolutely not. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm an advocate of these 10, 12, 13, 15,000 mile oil changes, because I'm not. But you don't have to change it at 3,000 anymore. Now here's another one that's going to blow your mind, Dale, because you're from the days of 30 weight, 40 weight engine oils.
When I first got my 392 Hemi, I ran straight 50 Valvoline racing oil.
Straight 50 weight. That stuff would pour like
Hemi
Aunt Jemima,
from 1957.
Right?
Yeah.
And within the next couple years, I'm going to say in the United States, you're going to see some of our Asian manufacturers like Toyota, Honda, and you're going to come out with 0W16 oil.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, 0W16.
Well, Haviland and those water bottles that he's... We used to say, what oil goes in here? He says, Haviland 1030. I said, just get the garden hose. You know?
Yeah. And it is
OW16.
OW16. They've been running it. They've been testing it in Japan for quite some time. And it's going to come to America. And there's two advantages to it. And it's the same thing with most all of these thinner oils we're using now. Better lubrication on cold startup. And it's going to give a 2 to 3% hike in fuel economy.
Well, I remember the old Fords, late 60s or early 70s, you changed, and we used 1540 or 10W40, and you crank away, clunk, 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 and pretty soon the main bearings would pump up. It had that cushion of oil. There's not that much play in it anymore.
No, the tolerances are tighter. Everything on those things are engineered tighter these days. But most of these cars, they say now they're running 0W20, which is a pretty popular oil. They're telling us now that you're looking at, you can transition over to 016 on those 020 cars. But we'll see. It's not here just yet.
I can't, you know, in my own mind, after seeing, you know, like using straight 50 racing oil in that Hemi, 30 weight in my 383 and 10W30 now in a 3.8 liter. And people say, you're using 10W30 in that, you know, like, why so heavy oil? And, well,
the game has definitely changed. And
well, they're going for just 0.30 thickness at all in that cold start.
Man, Dale, and here's another one. They're developing and testing, and somewhere in the future we're going to see 0W8.
Wow. I don't know.
It's coming. I don't know exactly when, but you'll see 0W8 somewhere down the road probably.
You want
It's thinner than water.
0.8, 0.16, or 0.20. Put 0.20 in there. Whoa, he's running heavy oil on that thing.
Let's put the 0.20 in there. It's hot. Remember we used to do that stuff in the summer. We would run a little heavier oil.
Yeah, I'd run 1030 in the winter and 1040 in the summer.
Yep.
Yeah, and that old 360 I had.
That's one of the things that we've seen is the types of oils we carry at Minute Mechanic has changed so much. We used to be 10W30 was our most popular oil, and then of course we had straight 30 and 10W40, 20W50, all these heavier, thicker oils. And in the last 10 years, that has transitioned to the point now, I don't know if we've got any 10W40 in the building.
You're kidding.
I don't know if we do or not. We may have a little bit, and just a little bit of 2050. Everything now, the most popular oils are 530s, 520s, 020s.
Well, what about the new diesel engines now? I think General Motors has come up. They've got a good diesel.
Yep,
Ford
they do.
And Dodge products.
Yes.
Most
generally, you're running Rotella 1540. Now, the newest Fords, that new 6.7 liter Power Stroke, they have transitioned into I'm pretty sure it's a 5W30 diesel oil.
Say that again.
5W30
diesel.
Yep.
They can bring the fuel mileage up on those.
Yeah, that's what they're working on. A lot of it is fuel mileage, and a lot of it is that quicker oiling in the mornings. We've all read that stuff where 70% or that's just a general number of your engine wear occurs on cold startup, right? And that's what they're trying to help avoid that. Plus the added benefit of getting more gas mileage. And with these CAFE standards pressing on them a little bit, you go, well, 0W16 will give them just 2% more gas mileage, but that's a fair amount, when you start averaging it out. Yep, sure enough. But the oils have really transitioned to thinner, lighter oils, and synthetics have made a huge impact on how much oil we're putting in. We went from probably 90% petroleum-based oil and 10% synthetic to the point now we're probably 70% petroleum oil, 30%.
Really?
Yeah, it's tripled, I'll bet, in the last 10 years.
Well, SAE behind this changing oil at higher mileages, 8,000 miles, due to the waste.
Yes, some of it is going to be an environmental impact for sure. And it's also, it's just due to the fact that, like we was talking earlier, the oils are better. Especially when you start talking about a synthetic oil. This stuff is engineered in a lab. These engineers can make that stuff do what they want it to do. When you're pumping it out of the ground, it's always a compromise. And with synthetics, it's custom tailored to what the engineers want that oil to do. That's why you see different oils now for a motorcycle and different oils for cars and all these. They have different additive packages in them. And with synthetic oils, and stuff that we've got now, running them stretching the oil changes is not a big deal. The thing I caution people about is if you're going to run this synthetic oil 7,500 miles, sometimes we got people that don't drive but 7,500 miles in a year.
Yeah.
So you don't want to change your oil, let's say on January 1st, and fill it up with synthetic oil and not ever open the hood until the next January the 1st. Your oil and stuff may all be good, but we have other things we need to check in the space of 12 months.
So when you come into Minute Mechanic and you say, I need lube, oil, and filter, you go under the car. Of course, when you raise it up, you check the CV joints, drive shaft, if it's rear-wheel drive, or however it could be four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. And anything underneath you bring to the customer's attention. What impresses me, though, is you say, I need to show you something. And you bring the customer out to the shop, under the vehicle, look right here. This is what we found wrong.
Yes. When we bring a car in, of course, we check fluids, filters, and things under the hood before we raise it up. Once we raise it up, we start inspecting tires, look for leaks. We can check brakes. There's a lot of things that we can check underneath a car. Look for trouble spots. And if we see something that's neat, that bears bringing to the customer's attention, I'll go in and tell them, hey, you know, you've got brakes that are getting worn out, or you've got tires that are bad, whatever. You got a big leak here or there. And if it's something really bad, a lot of times I'll bring the customer out into the shop and let them look at their own car and say, and with a flashlight, and say, hey, you know, look at this tire right here, look at this leak, whatever we got. And then they can make up their own mind. Once you supply your customer with the information about their vehicle and let them know what's going on and what the possible consequences are of all of this, then let them make up their own mind. Maybe they want to fix it, maybe they want to wait, whatever, but that's up to them.
Mm-hmm. Spark plugs, we've gone from 10,000 mile change out to 100, 150, 200,000. There's no telling. I think you had some General Motor vehicles come up with AC Platinum plugs at 150, 160,000 miles.
Yes. You know, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but my daughter, we had her car in a couple of weeks ago, and I took it up to the shop on a Saturday to look it over, and she lives in Fayetteville, so things have gotten away from me. In her 2006 Pontiac Grand Prix, I changed out the spark plugs on that thing with about 150,000 miles, and they were original. You know, they were ready to come out, there's no doubt about it. But at 150,000 miles, the car was still running good and getting decent gas mileage. But yeah, spark plugs have changed from the day when we used to have the standard old copper plugs with HEI ignition and carburetors, and we were changing them, you know, years ago we would change points and plugs about every year. Then we got into HEI and carburetors that were a little bit better, and we ended up changing them, whatever, 30,000 miles, something like that. Yeah. Well, now, you know, in the day of modern computer-controlled ignition and fuel injection, spark plugs are running an easy 100,000 miles. And, you know, that's an improvement, no doubt. The newer spark plugs cost more money. Yeah, they sure do. But
well, do the math. If you're changing every 10,000 miles at 80 cents a plug.
Yep. You know, it all averages out, but you're only having to have your car tied up once in that 100,000 miles for a spark plug change, instead of maybe 3 times or 4 times at 30,000, or 10 times at the 10,000, 12,000. You know,
well, you know, when
it's a good trade-off.
My vehicle now is at 198,400. Now, you know me, I'm a maintenance guru. You know, every little squeak or pop, hey Mike, I heard this. You know.
Yep.
So anyway, you know, at 100 and well, let's see, at about 170,000, I went with new plugs and wires. The coil had been on. I put the coil on at about 103. My 100,000 mile IDIS checkup. You know. On the way to Franklin, Tennessee, somewhere around the 11th, 12th, whatever day I left to go to Franklin, I developed a misfire. I thought the transmission, oh, well, it's a 604 Chrysler. You know, they don't last but 32, 33 miles anyway. You know, sorry, Chrysler. But seriously, I developed a misfire.
Right.
I thought, okay. So I stopped at Jackson, Tennessee, plugged into it, cylinder 2 and 5 dropped, but I'll make it to Franklin. Went to a parts house, coil, plugs, wires, runs fine. You never know when it's going to pull a stunt like that.
Exactly. You know, even vehicles with the best of maintenance, you know, you take care of yours, you're working on it, you're changing the oil, you're replacing parts that need to be replaced. But as you know, as vehicles age, especially, you know, you get out on the road and you're traveling to Destin, or you're traveling wherever you're going, and the possibility of a breakdown is always there. But it exists with a new car. You know, I could run up here and buy a new Ford, Chevy, Dodge and take off to somewhere. I might have problems with it. You know, that you don't know.
You don't know?
That's kind of a roll of the dice sometimes with vehicles. And we have people coming in our shop on a daily basis with 200,000 miles on their vehicles, and they're traveling all over the United States.
Yeah.
We got a guy that comes in with he has a fleet of these Dodge 3/4 ton diesels.
Really?
And he paints storage tanks, water towers.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the lowest mileage diesel in his fleet's got about 350 or 400,000 miles on it. And they're on the road right now driving somewhere.
Wow. Well, things we need to check when you go to Mini-Mechanic, and that location again is what?
132, Highway 201 North.
What you need to remember, check that belt, the belt tensioner.
Belt tensioner. I'm going to throw something out there, man. Everybody noticed it got cold this weekend.
Yeah.
We need to get a check on our batteries. Make sure that we got a good battery with cold weather coming on, because those things will surprise you. They always decide not to work on a cold, dark, rainy night or something. You know, we need to check antifreeze. Antifreeze is another one of those things that you forget about, in the fact that we've went to extended this extended life coolant.
Let me extended life. Mine's got 198,000.
Way to go, Dale.
Practice what you preach, right?
Maintenance Guru's got 200,000 miles.
What time can you get me in, Mike?
With all these extended life on engine coolants and antifreezes, 5 years, 100,000 miles is what a lot of people are telling you. Well, you forget about things. The next thing you know, you've got 200,000. But antifreeze is something that needs to be checked. Make sure that the freeze protection is adequate for winter. If it's like last winter, it'll be just fine, most likely, but you never know. Check battery, check antifreeze. We need to check lights. We need to get tires checked. You know, we may have slippery roads coming up. This next weekend, it's going to be dark all the time, so adequate lighting and good set of wiper blades is a great way to start wintertime.
You bet. Min Mechanic, Highway 201 North, 425-3135. You got time to get folks in this week?
We do. We've got quite a bit of stuff on the schedule for Monday, but that's common. But if you need something done, give us a shout, and I'll bet we can fit you in today. Absolutely.
Give Mike and the gang a call. They're ready to serve you. Scooter, you ready to go to a break?
You bet. You bet.
Hey,
it was great to have you on again, Mike.
And we're going to talk Bob Rechtenwald Sports.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Have you ever noticed? One.
And we're back. Like a belch from a bad onion, Jerry. Remember that one? The inaugural TV program
Just
down
sick.
on the corner.
They're sick.
And Bob Rechtenwald with sports. How you
It
doing?
is sports. Boy, it's been a busy week. Busy week. Scooter and I spent about 14 hours at Moore Stadium on Saturday. Easy 14 hours.
Easy 14 hours. It was a long day.
It was the OFA, Ozark Football Association's end of the season tournament. The first game kicked off at 8 o'clock. The last game finished at about 9:30. You talk about a fun bunch of kids. Had a great time. We had 10 games scheduled. Only 9 games were played. We had a forfeit because we had one team was down to 8 players, and there's no way you can play 11-man football with 8 players. So we started off the morning with an elimination game in both divisions, just so people understand how Ozark Football Association is set up. There's a 3rd and 4th grade division. There's a 5th and 6th grade division. Each division has teams from around the area, and a team from Gainesville and a team from Mountain View. The fight was on to try to see who was the best. It was the dog pile to the top. So it was a great day. Scooter, what do you think?
It was awesome. I mean, the tournament went really well. I have to give some props to Air Evac. They actually flew in and presented the game ball, and the kids went nuts. And
the helicopter arrived on Bobber Field?
Just right on the 50. And let me tell you, he came in from the end of the football field, came down right in the middle of that 50-yard line.
Wow.
Walked it out. The ref came out there, received the ball. It was really just a cool ordeal to be part of.
But the kids got a kick out of that?
Oh, God, they were hooting and hollering.
That was for the championship game for the 5th and 6th grade teams. It had just turned dark. And if you don't remember how cold it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably at that time of the day, probably 30 degrees out. These kids are cold all day. They've been there all day just like we had been. Because if you played early in the day and you played for that championship, the 3rd and 4th grade championship game did not start until 6 o'clock. The 5th and 6th grade championship game didn't start till after 7. So it was a long day for those kids. Like to say thank you to the sponsors that they had in the 3rd and 4th grade: Denali Rods, Families Inc., BSI MAS, which is right across the street from us here, Holy Smokes Barbecue in the 5th and 6th grade, along with McLean Farms and Homebound Medical. The 2 Gainesville teams were sponsored by Ozark County Times and Shelter Insurance.
Yeah, up in Gainesville.
Shelter Insurance up in Gainesville. A great time was had by all. The championship games were awesome. The 3rd and 4th grade, it was Denali Rods versus Mountain View, and Denali Rods walked away with the championship rings. And in the 5th and 6th grade, it was Mountain View and Homebound Medical Enforcers. The Mountain View ended up being successful in their victory in that game for sure. And again, it was just a good time for that bunch of boys. The 5th and 6th grade, it was a bit of a blowout. Mountain View took away 26-0.
Yeah.
The Denali Rods game was a bit closer than that. I don't recall the score. Too many scores in my head to remember that.
It was close.
We had those, like I said, we had 9 games that day. I didn't think I was going to be able to talk yesterday, I can tell you that. The season is over for OFA, with the exception they have put together a traveling 6th grade team that will take off and go to Harrison on November the 4th, which is this Saturday. They'll play in a tournament there, kind of as their farewell gig for the 6th grade. Those boys are excited about it, and we'll see how it goes from there.
So you've had a good season.
It was a good season, yeah.
I gotta say one thing, because this is the first time I think I've had one this low. We had one of our games, and this is how tough the competition was at this tournament. One of our games was won by 2-0.
Say that again.
Won by 2-0.
Yep, it was
a safety
decided by a safety.
A safety won the game.
You know, people. I heard some people in the stands, or as I was walking out of the stands to take a short break, which we didn't get very many of, but well, you know, it seems like these teams are all stacked. They're all rigged. They're all stacked. How do you get a score of 2-0 and say it was these teams are stacked. Doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. If you had any idea how for 17 seasons we put those teams together at Mountain Home Youth Football and how we did it this year with Ozark Football Association, there's no way in the world that a team can be stacked. The coach protects his own son and his assistant. You got 2 people on every team that by design. That way, because the coach knows who he's got for his son and his assistant. You're allowed 1 protected assistant. The other assistant comes from the pick of the team. Everybody else is done right to left, ABC players. It's been done that way. Like I said, in Mountain Home Youth Football, we did it 17 previous seasons that way. Brought that idea over to OFA this year. And I think if you look at the scores, nothing was lopsided. And if it was lopsided, I would blame it on the cold weather and these players cramping up and being a little bit sore. You know, you get hit when it's 80 degrees outside. It's a little easier to take than when you get hit at 30 degrees. Especially when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 years old.
This was the coldest one game day you've ever had this year.
Oh, by far.
By far, yeah.
Yeah.
Because what were we, 75, 80 degrees a week ago, and now we just, the temperatures.
And we'll be back up in the 70s again this weekend.
Yep.
But you can't blame it on the selection of the teams, and you can't blame it on the quality of the players. You might want to look at the weather, because little Johnny doesn't want to be running around when it's 34 degrees outside. And I think at kickoff for the first game at 8 o'clock, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 degrees. It was cold.
Saturday morning? I think you're 27 degrees Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But you got to give them credit, though. At 8 o'clock in the morning, it is freezing, and those kids came to play.
They were there.
It was a battle from first game on.
You bet. It was a good weekend. How about flag football? I was going to ask Dale, how about flag football?
I couldn't attend. They changed the time because of the temperature, and I was hoping Brent Weaver could stop by this morning, but that season has ended. It was a successful year. One team had to forfeit. They had 4 kids show up, but because let me back up. A week ago, there was a chance of rain, which was out of the forecast by the time Thursday, Friday rolled around, but they had to change the time. Instead of starting at 9 and ending at 1, they started at 11 and ended around 3. But one of the teams won off of a forfeit, which is unfortunate, but they had a successful year. There were about 123 kids involved in First Baptist Church's NFL flag program. And so I want you, before we take a break, I want you to talk about the importance of what you're doing in football and what this does for the program for the high schools and the junior high. Because where do you start them at 3rd grade or 4th grade in OFA?
They'll start in 3rd grade in the OFA.
Third grade? So
Yes.
About 8 years old, right?
I believe
Is that 8 years old, Scooter?
I'm guessing 8 and 9 is
Yeah.
3rd and 4th grade. 10,
Something
11,
like
and
that,
12 would be the upper division.
But when you coordinate with your school systems, like Mountain View would coordinate, I would think, with Mountain View Public Schools. If you've got kids from Yellville, you go with the Yellville Summit program, but Mountain Home would coordinate with the coaching staff throughout Mountain Home schools. Am I correct? So that you teach them in the early years what that staff wants to build on by the time they're in 7th grade football as a Bomber.
We would hope that's the ultimate goal, no doubt, to get the football program from high school down to the 7th grade to be very supportive of what is now the OFA. The problem that we've had in the past, and I'm not talking OFA times, I'm talking Mountain Home Youth Football, is that we would have a group of coaches that were all gung-ho because they had children playing, right? So, of course, they want to help. They want to be part of the program. They want to do what they can to make it successful. The drawback to it is little Billy gets out of the 6th grade, and there goes that coach. We lose him. So we have another younger coach that comes in with a younger child, and he wants to be gung-ho, and he plays, and he helps, and he does it. And I'm not kicking the help that we got. But when that child goes on to the 6th grade, that coach is gone. The hope would be that we can get some of these younger coaches that are in the school district to be part of this program and be a dedicated part of this program. So when little Jack goes on to 7th grade, Dad stays behind and still helps with the OFA. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Consistency.
We need some consistency. like I said, and I'm not patting myself on the back, 17 years of Mountain Home youth football, it's not a lot of turnover with coaches in Mountain Home School District. I claim, and have for years, Dale, you know I've said this 100 times, why is Harrison's always successful in football? Why were they so successful in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s? Consistency. Tommy Tice was the figure there forever, right? Forever.
Very successful.
I bet you Gil remembers Coach Tice.
He's smiling over there.
He's over there smiling.
So that's what we need as a community. We need some consistency on our coaching staff that will help develop a program that can be looked up to.
Well, you look at collegiate football to NFL. You know, you've got scouts at every collegiate game, and they're looking for that talent to move into the NFL. You look at baseball on the collegiate level. They've got scouts to look at minor league, whether it's Bush League, A, AA, 3A, pro baseball. And I'm sure they got it in NBA as well. They'll be at any college basketball game watching for talent for NBA. So this is kind of a minor league setup for high school.
Pretty much. Years ago, again, and today, as this 6th grade class of OFA goes on to play 7th grade, we'll lose 20% of those kids. It's sad. Those kids ought to be so excited about playing football when they finish playing with the OFA that they can't wait until 7th grade starts. History shows us, though, we'll lose 20% of those kids.
That's a big number.
5 years ago, when Mountain Home Youth Football quit playing because OFA decided to come to town, we put 80 players into the 7th grade program. Okay? That's a lot of kids. The drawback to it is, if you put 80 players in 7th grade, by the time those kids go to the 8th grade, you're down to 50. They lose interest in that year's time. 8th grade to 9th grade, it'll drop to 40 to 45. The graduating senior class of right now, which are still a bunch of kids that played back in the Mountain Home Youth football days, is down to 27. So if that senior class today that we have seniors of Mountain Home Bombers is down to 27, but it started at 80, what's happening to all those kids? Why are they not wanting to play? We've got bigger kids marching in the band than we've got playing offensive line for the Bombers. Where's the problem there? Why are we losing the interest? A lot of it is, I want to specialize in basketball. I want to specialize in golf. I want to specialize in tennis. I want to specialize in the sport. I know Coach Brian Maddox is very much a multi-sport coach. He believes that a player ought to play more than one sport. When I played for the Bombers back in the 70s, if you didn't have a sport after football, they found you one.
Really?
Yeah. And if you didn't have a job in the summertime, they found you one. Those coaches were very into your life. They were all about you. I'm not saying that the coaches today are not about the kids, but I'm thinking that they need to take a look at how they're working it. My hat's off to Coach Brian Maddox.
Yeah.
He's had a good bunch of seniors, 27 seniors. It's the largest senior class I've seen in a long time play Bomber football. He's 1-8 today. 1-8.
1-8.
And we'll talk about high school football here in just a minute.
Going to take a quick break. Coming up at 8 o'clock, the Daily News Hour with Jim Bumgarner. He's going to be talking all about Halloween and history this morning on the Daily News Hour with Jim Bumgarner. A lot of neat stuff from author and Tombstone researcher Abby Burnett coming up at 8 o'clock. And be sure to stay tuned to that at 8 o'clock. Scooter, let's take a break. What do you say?
Take a quick break. We'll be right
More
back.
with everybody right after this.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Have you ever?
Two, one.
And we're back. The inaugural program of Down on the Corner and XL7 TV. We've got Scott Callis, Jerry Hogan, myself. I'm Dale Hoffman, and joined with Bob Rechtenwald. Every Monday we're going to be doing sports. And what do you got for us now?
Let's talk about Bomber football.
Okay.
All right.
Mountain Home Bombers played Friday night. Searcy Lions came to town. Searcy came thinking it was going to be a cakewalk. You could tell how cocky they were the moment they touched the field. They scored in the first 48 seconds of the game, and oh boy, we thought it was going to be, at that point, we thought it was going to be a cakewalk for them. Bombers came back, and it was neck and neck throughout the whole game.
Good game.
It was a very good game. Did not come out to the right side for the Bombers. Bombers ended up losing 28-21. They got the ball to the inch line. The tip of the ball was setting on the goal line. Could not get it in. Twice. Could not get it in. You know, Jerry was up on top of the press box with us, and we just could not figure out how in the world you could not get the ball in. We thought, and we looked at it on the replay several times, and we thought for sure that that was a touchdown.
The line on the ball never broke the plane of the line.
I'm saying that the front of that ball was on the white line. What do you think, Scooter? You're in the camera.
It was. I mean, we went back and watched the instant replays and stuff, and the ball was over that line. It was there.
You could tell by the way the running back had the ball and the way his back was. It was clearly over. You can't cry over spilled milk. It's done. It's over with. They lost, but it's a toughest loss I've seen the Bombers of this year play for sure.
What was their closest deficit in a loss? This was 28-21, you said, so they lost by one touchdown on PAT.
I'm going to bet that this is the closest one. They lost by 7 points.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind they were actually ahead at the end for quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought it was going to pull out. It was right at the end that they ended up.
We drove to score, or we drove down the field in the second half. Got within 4 yards.
Yep.
First string quarterback went out with some cramping. Took a big hit.
What was game time temp Friday night?
No, it wasn't. It was cold. It was 35 probably.
It was pretty chilly.
Quarterback goes out he took a pretty good lick to the head. He was out. If you get hurt on the field, you have to come out for a play. Standard rule. So he came out, and unfortunately, our second string quarterback, young sophomore, comes out, takes the snap, fumbles the football, turns it over on the 1 yard line. So the best game I've seen Bombers play this year, without a doubt. Unfortunately, the outcome was not good.
What will they learn from this outcome, though? You talk about a sophomore quarterback. He'll be a junior in August. So, working throughout the summer, what do you see coming out?
We've got a pretty good class of freshmen that'll come in as sophomores this year. We've got a nice junior class that, if they all stay, excuse me, if they all stay, should be a nice class of seniors. The sophomore class we have now is pretty good size. They all work hard. You know, you've got, of course, I've been around this a long time. There's only 11 people who can play at a time. And people get upset year after year after year. Well, why does that child get to play both ways and my son's got to stand on the bench as a junior? Why does that child get to play both ways and my child gets to stand on the bench as a senior? There's only 10 games in a season. You've got to play the best talent that you've got to win as many games as you can and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Those sophomores and those juniors, their time to shine is JV. That's why it's called junior varsity. If they come out and they can shine playing JV, that's when they get to play. They'll start playing as a senior. Jerry, we were over in Yellville 2 weeks ago. We were down Mountain View 2 weeks ago. What do you think about the numbers of the kids? How many kids in Mountain View and Yellville field versus to the number of kids at Mountain Home field? It's a huger. Mountain Home's got 50 kids now. Yellville's got, 25 or 30? Mountain View, I think, maybe had 30. The size of the school, I always thought, the size of the school doesn't have anything to do with the performance of the team. I'm learning different. It took me a while to figure that out. The pool of choice for these schools is different. So what is this young quarterback going to learn? He's going to have to learn that at any given time he could be called on to make a play. If he'd have scored, that'd have been a whole different game. If he'd have just been able to hold on to the ball, and because it was only first down, if he'd have been able to hold on to that ball, where the second string or the first string quarterback could have came back, it'd been way different.
Experience.
Now, we do have to bring up a little bit about Yellville. I know you want to talk a little bit about what was going on in Yellville football right now.
Yellville Summit Panthers have made it to their playoffs.
Good.
And it will not be decided where they go. They will not have home field advantage. There's no way. But they will be going to either Atkins, Perryville, or Charleston. But it won't be determined until the end of Friday night's games this coming Friday.
Wow.
XL7 TV will be at Yellville Friday night to bring that game live. There'll be Yellville versus Marshall. Marshall's coming to town. Marshall's had a rough year this year, so Yellville should, with hopes on their side, be able to pull this off. But, Jerry, we need to encourage the local businesses in Yellville to come out and support this so we can take the TV crew down and bring it back to the people at home that can't make the trips. What do you think?
That's right. So, Scooter, I think we're headed out to Yellville today, aren't we? Try to drum up a little support.
Headed out to Yellville. Whoop, whoop.
It always helps to have that community support.
Absolutely. Yellville Panthers are 3-6 right now. So they started off real slow. I think they started off losing the first 3 games. Then they came back and picked up some wins, and now they're 3-6. This is the first time that this team has been to the playoffs since Coach Mallett was there, and I believe that's been 5 years, 5 seasons. They're excited. Their coach is excited. I talked to him last Friday. He's excited for the opportunity to go. He's also excited for the opportunity for XL7 to be there to broadcast it for the parents and family members that can't make the trip.
You bet.
We can't do that without some community support, some sponsorships to bring that game back to the folks. So when the businesses in Yellville and over in Marion County see the face of Jerry Hogan come in your door, you'll know what he's coming for.
You know what he's for.
He's coming looking for some sponsorships for the
we got less than a minute.
And we'll wrap it up. I'm finished. Mountain Home Volleyball made it to state playoffs. They were taken out in the second round. That's always a great program. We have an all-state tennis player that brought it to the finals. I'm out of here.
Stay tuned for Jim Bumgarner coming up on K26 in Harrison. The inaugural show down on the corner on TV is now history, folks. Thanks for joining us.